Reduce your carbohydrate intake to lose weight. You must have heard this probably a zillion times by now. Ask anyone what they would cut down from their diets in order to lose weight, and 90% of them would say carbs. But are carbs really the culprit? Due to the rise in popularity of diets like Atkins, Paleo, and LCDs, people now shy away from the inclusion of carbohydrates in their diets. So what exactly are these fat-causing carbohydrates all about? A carbohydrate is a biomolecule consisting of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms, usually with a hydrogen-oxygen atom ratio of 2:1, with its simplest form being glucose. Glucose is easily transportable and stored in the liver and muscles after being converted to glycogen by a process called glycogenesis. The liver can convert glycogen back to glucose, but the muscles cannot. It can use the glycogen directly if need be. Compared to fats, which have infinite storage capacity, glycogen storage is, however, limited in the body. Carbohydrates are of two types, simple and complex. Simple carbohydrates are made up of 1 or 2 sugar molecules, while complex carbohydrates are made up of more than 2 sugar molecules. The simple carbs get converted to glucose relatively faster as compared to complex carbs. Take a look at these 2 bowls of cereals and oats. Which one would you choose to eat if your goal is to lose weight? Most of you must have chosen oats as the correct answer, fearing the insulin spike of GI value. But is there really a right answer to this question? Well, not really, unless you're an athlete competing for a specific sport and goal. For a layman looking for body composition, it doesn't matter. They can choose either cereals, which is a simple carbohydrate, or oats, which is a complex carbohydrate. The reason some would prefer oats over cereals could be because of satiety issues too, especially after a deficit. Consuming cereals might make one feel more hungry as compared to consuming oats with the same macronutrient quantity. It might be difficult to overconsume complex carbs as compared to simple carbs, hence preventing overeating or exceeding the calories. For ectomorphs who need to consume high-calorie food, some might prefer consuming simple carbs because it might make it easier to complete their carbohydrate macronutrients. So, what's the body's preferred source of fuel? Fats. Yes, you heard that right. When the body is at a steady state or in rest, it uses up fatty acids as a source of fuel, while on the other hand, it utilizes fats and glycogen when the body is performing activities relatively higher intensity. What about carbohydrate consumption causing an insulin spike? Well, insulin spike is not a bad thing. In fact, did you know that it is important for survival too? Well, now you do. Take a look at this graph. It shows the insulin spike post-consuming a high GI food. You might see a high spike in insulin levels, but as soon as the glucose is utilized for transported to muscle or liver, the insulin level comes back to a normal level. This indicates that the insulin spike is not such a bad thing after all. However, for people with diabetes, their intake has to be monitored by their physicians. So how much is too much? Well, it depends on your goals and preference. As long as you're meeting your protein requirement and consuming enough fats so as to not damage your bodily functions, you can adjust carbohydrates depending upon your calories. As much as gorging all day on French fries and bagels may not be the best approach for long-term or short-term fat loss, there's absolutely nothing wrong with including carbohydrates in your diet, regardless of your goals.